Hello. Just bear with me one moment, please. All right, we're good. I think. Welcome to the Anna Hummel show. I'll be with you for the next hour or so, maybe a little more. Not starting too late. I needed an extra bump today and not of cocaine. And by the way, I don't do cocaine anymore because I've quote like evolved as a person or anything. I just want to make that clear because cocaine is super fun. I just don't want to die from a fentanyl OD. That's it. So I just want to make sure that people understand that. I still think it's super cool. I would do it more if I wasn't so fucking afraid, but I guess a combination of age, wisdom, and changing times where I don't want to be. I don't want you guys to see my face in the fucking paper tomorrow where I OD'd on fentanyl by accident. That's not a good look for me. That is certainly not how I'm going to go out. Brian from Philly, $10. Brian, are you coming tonight? Because we got a Bubba 199 with Macho on the 1s and 2s. I have officially retired, I think. At least as far as any gig at the BRN. It was kind of I didn't retire. I got fired. I pretty much got demoted to just back to where I sit, looking, cute with my fucking AA titties, tates, and next to all the beautiful ladies who usually have it out and about. And I feel bad. I feel like we should get another lady in, because no one's gawking at me, and that's fine. I'm really not putting anything on display for anybody. By choice, obviously. So I feel like maybe I should just step aside and let somebody else with at least B to C breasts be sitting there, because that's what the people want. And I in my heart of hearts, I feel like I am a populist. I am a woman of the people. And if it is the will of the people for me to kind of step aside, then so be it. 813-90-BUBBA if you would like to call in. A lot of things to discuss. I'm a little bit tired today, which is why I'm having the extra caffeine, because I was up pretty late last night because my father is in town. Papa Hummel is in town, and his flight was slightly delayed. Brian from Philly, $5, can't make it. So sorry. Your presence will be missed. You're always a good time, Brian. You always know how to have fun in more ways than one. You're just always smiling and, smoking dope. And that's cool. That's super awesome. But yeah, so I was up late last night. Had to grab the pops from the airport. Of course, the flight was delayed, which for some odd reason, I had forgot that was a thing. I left jiu-jitsu early, a little bit early, about 10 minutes early, so that I can make it home, shower, so I don't get MRSA again, and then headed to the airport. And as soon as I got home, I saw that he texted me. He goes, a little delayed. So lucky for us, we have the internet, and you can check on when flights arrive. And so it was only delayed by half an hour, which isn't a problem. But it became a problem because my father is, how you say, a boomer. So I don't know where the fuck he went. I went where I was supposed to go, okay? I went to the right terminal. I went to arrivals. I was there. And if you haven't been, and I assume it's like this with most airports, but I don't really know because I don't really pick anybody up at other airports. Like, even when I was in San Diego, I mean, I guess I'm trying to remember, like, pick up, drop off. I don't know. The memory's unclear. It's a little fuzzy because I feel like whenever getting dropped off is not the problem, because you go, you park along the curb for a second, you get out, you give the hug, you go, bye, see you later. But when you're picking somebody up, which I've never done in San Diego because I was always the one fucking flying in, and my dad is always, he's a good dad, so he parks. He brings, like, the dog and everything, and he's like, I know in San Diego at Lindbergh Field, there's this giant escalator that comes down, and I always feel like I'm fucking Donald Trump when he said he was going to run for president back in, 2015 or early 16, and he's coming down that escalator. That's what I feel like, and I see my dad, and we're waving aggressively, and it's just a good time. But I'm not like that because I don't want to pay for parking. I know for the first hour is free, but God forbid the flight's delayed and I have to pay $4. That's going to really piss me off. And I always like to just time it right. Anyways, the way that the Tampa airport works, and I'm assuming most airports are like this, but arrivals, they got to keep it moving, right? They got to keep it moving. You're picking people up, but you can't just be parked out there waiting for your gal, your guy, your dad, your mom, whomever. Your friend, you can't sit there. They got people. Let's go. Keep it moving. So what you do, because, well, I guess you could just sit in the parking lot. And again, that didn't occur to me. I haven't been sleeping, folks. I was having problems at jiu-jitsu. At one point, the instructor was saying something to me, and she's like, left shin on right foot, or something like that, and my brain just glitched. And I just looked at her straight up. I'm just saying, I'm like, dude, I feel super retarded right now. I'm really, like, and everyone laughed, but I was like, seriously, I don't know what you're saying to me. It's your right. It was like a game of Twister, kind of, which is odd because we were learning a move called, quote, the Twister. But anyways, I've never been put in a spine lock before. Also, would like to note, I didn't know what that was a thing until last night. The instructor was like, well, she did a move on someone else, and I said, like, what? Why are you tapping? Not because it didn't look like it hurt. It was just like, where's the pain concentrated? Because she had this person contorted in such a way that I was like, is that a choke? Is that a back crank? I didn't know what the fuck she was doing. She had one leg hooked and she was pulling him one way, twisting him the other way, using her arms across his face. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And he goes, that it's a spine lock. I go, I don't know what, I didn't know that was a thing. I know there's like a shoulder lock, arm bar, knee bar. I've experienced all these types of pains, but I saw the spine lock, and it's weird in jiu-jitsu. You get curious to experience new types of pain. You go, never had that one before. They all are unpleasant, but some are much, much worse than others. Oddly enough, when people put a bunch of weight on like the tender meat inside your like the crook of your knee, you know, like the sorry, Bubba, those are your headphones. I'll grab those in a second. But there's like a soft, tender part right here. If you're watching the inside of your knee, and when someone takes their knee and fucking puts all their weight on that part, that'll make me scream, and it did. So she goes, "Hey Anna, do you want me to put you in the spine lock?" And I'm like, not really, but I am a bit curious to see how and why it hurts. And so she put it, dude, I didn't even tap. I just fucking screamed. I was like, and then she let go, and I go, I don't even know where the pain was. Like, it was my entire body. It was not even concentrated in I thought it would maybe hurt my neck or something. I honestly, she let go, and I go, I don't even know where that hurt me. Like, it was so unbelievably unbearable. It was just like my entire body was on fire. Not great. 81390 Bubba. So anyways, yeah, I'm at the airport last night, and I guess I didn't go into the parking lot, into the waiting lot, because I was just optimistic. I was just really hoping I don't know if you've ever had this happen when you're picking someone up from the airport. A, they're already waiting for you, or B, like they're coming out as you're pulling up, and it's like this beautiful moment. You know, so I'm just fucking doing loops. And then my dad calls and he's like, I'm at this gate. And I was like, why are you at the blue terminal? You came on a red flight. You're Frontier Willie. Why are you at JetBlue? What's going on here? So I go to the first terminal to pick him up in the baggage claim. He's not there. And then I go to the second one, the express lane. He's not there. So I go, okay, no, you're not. Where the fuck are you? So, I don't know. He ended up at departures on the wrong terminal. I don't know. Anyways, it was, and I felt bad because most of the time I maybe have a little bit more patience. But this is like 10 p.m. at night. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning, and you spend the day cleaning because you want things to be right. And it's not his fault. I should have, maybe planned better. But yeah, I like to clean like right before someone comes, because then that leaves less time to get messy again, right? Doesn't that make sense? So I was doing that, ended up doing jiu-jitsu probably a little bit longer than I should have. Blah, blah, blah. Picked up my dad, and at first he gave me like the most awkward hug hello because he thought I was mad at him. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? He's like, I thought you were mad at me. I'm like, get in the car. I'm not mad at you. I'm just annoyed. Just let me bitch and complain like, the Jews that we are. No problem. So dad is here, very excited. He has come into contact with an old friend of his that he knew when he lived in Israel, for those that don't know, even though this is a point and a fact that's stressed on the show, apparently I'm not a real American, which actually really hurts my feelings, because then what the fuck am I even, is what I would like to know. I'm Israeli, I guess, on paper, but I mean, am I? I've been there one time after my birth. I don't speak the language of the country. I don't really identify with the culture because I was fucking raised here. So when people say that I'm not really American, that hurts my feelings, because I'm like, then where do I belong if not here? I'm a very much red-blooded American. And you'll find oftentimes that people who are immigrants of America, which I guess I technically am, even though like it doesn't really feel that way. I don't have an accent. I don't got nothing. I can't even speak another language, so I don't even get that kind of perk where I can, identify and like, oh, I'm Israeli and we speak Hebrew. Like, I can't even fucking do that. When I meet real Israelis, they start speaking to me in Hebrew and I'm like, bro, sorry. I got nothing. I got nothing for you. And then they look at me and they're ashamed. So that doesn't feel good either. Anyways, yes. So Pick pops up. He had a friend in Israel that he knew many, many years ago, 40 to be precise. And they never saw each other again. Because people lose touch and, you got your own lives, you get married, you have children, things happen. And then what enters into the boomer's life, probably, I guess for them, around the age of 55, 60, is Facebook. Facebook comes into your life after the college kids were done with it. We had our moment with it, which is great. You had to have a .edu. I remember those days back in 05, 06, maybe 07. And I was like, fuck yeah, this Facebook's like a college thing. It was essentially an outgrowth of Hot or Not, I think. I've heard stories, and I can't remember the origin story of Facebook, but I'm pretty sure like Mark Zuckerberg like didn't come up with it or whatever. It was like those twins. You know what I'm talking about? Someone call them out. Vanderbilt. It's like a German name. I can't remember. The Voldemort, they're rowers. They're like good-looking crew guys. Two very, what am I trying to say? Like tech guys. I think they're billionaires. But anyways, whatever. Mark Zuckerberg is credited for it. And I remember back in those days, in the mid, what would you call it, 2010s? That sounds so lame. But around 05, 06, 07, it was exclusively for college kids because you had to have a .edu email to sign up and register, which was super cool because it was just for me. And then I remember that my sister, who was in high school, got one, and I was like, well, that's watering it down. That's kind of sucks. And then more people started getting it. And I remember the moment I knew that Facebook was over or at least wasn't the hot spot it used to be, was when my Aunt Barbara got one. And I'm like, what? Fucking Auntie Barbara is on Facebook? That's ridiculous. And that was probably like in 2011 or something. And ever since then, I'm like, yeah, no thanks, Facebook. I'm good. That definitely took a backseat to everything else. Took a backseat to the gram. Took a backseat to Twitter. But mostly the gram. I am definitely a gram addict. I'm not proud of it. I'm really trying to scale it back, but it locks me in and I start to incessantly scroll. And it's not even like I'm having that much fun while scrolling. I was talking with my friend yesterday. We haven't spoken in a few months, and we were catching up, and I'm like, dude, I'm an addict. I am addicted to Instagram. And I'm getting better about it, but it's still, I still feel somewhat out of control when I start. And the problem with that is that I don't even really feel that good while I'm doing it. Like, at least with people who do heroin, cocaine, even alcohol, at least there's like somewhat of a payoff. Like, maybe you feel guilty that you're a piece of shit and you threw your life away, when you get sober for a few minutes. But during when you're engaging with whatever addiction you have, like, at least you're enjoying it then, right? If you're doing heroin, it feels good. Until it starts to wear off, and then you realize your body needs it, so you need to get your next fix. But with Instagram, like, I feel like there's not even a payoff. Like, I'm not really enjoying it. I just feel like I can't stop scrolling, which sounds lame, but unfortunately it is the case. And then what's even worse is that because everyone else is addicted to it, no one is calling it out as a problem. When you're addicted to heroin, people have interventions with you. When you're addicted to alcohol, people have interventions. They call doctors. They're concerned about your health. But if you're just on Instagram a lot, it's like, yeah, everybody is. Who cares? Like, no one is really calling it out as a problem. And I think that it is. I think it's a huge problem mostly for our happiness. I feel like our happiness is tanking. I saw that there was a recent report that America didn't even crack the top 20 happiest nations in the world, which I guess we were always a part of. This study had been around for the last 20 years. I can't remember exactly who conducted the study, but I saw this article in a few different places. And they said that I think America was number 23, which I guess when you consider all the countries, what are there, like 190? Maybe. Is that about right? Maybe 200? I can't remember. I feel like there's as many countries as there are like human bones in the body. I don't know. I think it's 190-ish. And sometimes that changes. You know, some people break off, they become a country, then they get reabsorbed into a different country. So I guess it's kind of fluctuating, but I think it's around 190. So people are just reporting that they're not as happy as they once were. And of course, everybody wants to point the fingers at social media technology, which is so ironic because everybody is just getting deeper into the technology train, right? It's like we all got the pocket computers now. Everybody's got a laptop. I mean, I got fucking 50 screens in front of me right now between the TVs and this and that. So you're constantly bombarded by technology. Then you got the AI factor and the Chat GPT and Alexa. It's like we're completely reliant on these machines. They seem to be making us less happy, but the technology continues to improve. And for some reason, you know, technology is only moving in one direction. It's linear. It's not turning around, making a U-turn and going back the other direction. The technology is getting faster, better, and more efficient, which is super cool. But the things that humans are able to do with satellite technology, with AI, with like the Neuralink, the interface between machines, robotics, and human beings. So it's cool, but I don't think it's going to make us happier. I think that the golden age, if I can pinpoint it, and maybe I'm completely off base, and I would love to hear from people, and I know there are people that have been on hold for quite some time now, and I do apologize, 81390 Bubba. There seems to be a golden age of technology where the technology was good enough so that people weren't dying from fucking cholera. And by technology, I'm also including like medicine in that as well. You know, phones were a thing, so you could like call friends. You didn't have to write letters and, you know, have a pigeon delivered or whatever. And there were computers, but it wasn't like you had a cell phone yet. And I think that the time that people harp on as the best time where there was just the perfect amount of technology were the 90s. Like, I hear that a lot. Like, oh man, why can't we just go back to 1995? I hear that shit all the fucking time. And it's funny because people don't go like, man, I wish we could go back to 1921. No one says that because you're like, did they even have penicillin? I don't know. But maybe the 80s, but I still don't really hear that. I really hear people harp on how great the 90s were. Was it also because the economy was booming, things were good, the Soviet Union fucking fell, we beat the Russians, whatever the case may be? Maybe it was just kind of like this general ethos of that time. It wasn't maybe just the technology aspect. It was the economy was awesome. People were thriving for the most part. We were, moving in the right direction, at least when it comes to race relations and equal rights for everybody before we just fucking kept going, made a hard U-turn back to who fucking knows where we're going now. But that seems to be a time that people really look back on like those were the good old days. And it's funny because it's not just millennials. It's like Xers. I've heard boomers say that. Obviously not Gen Z because they weren't born yet. But a lot of people harp on how great the 90s were because you still had a lot of human-to-human interaction. There hadn't been a pandemic. 9/11 hadn't happened yet. The style was a little better, in my opinion, than the 80s. The 80s were fucking whack. I think the 80s decade generation, I know a lot of the people on the show, Bubba, Dan, geriatric Xers, have a lot of fond memories of the 80s because that's when they were like in their 20s and shit. But looking back, not that I experienced much of the 80s, especially because, I was 2.5 when they were over. But, the style was horrendous. The music was terrible, bar, Billy Joel, Michael Jackson, and Prince. Those are the only 3 passes I'm really going to give. I didn't think the 80s were great, but the 90s, the heroin chic, the grunge, the super skinny but kind of like oversized flannel, the kind of mom jeans. The early 2000s really fucked women up with the low-rise skin-tight jeans. Nobody could pull those off. Everyone had a muffin top. Even if you were pretty thin and in shape, you were still rocking a muffin top most of the time just because it hit you below the belly button. That's not a good place for pants to hit you for anybody, but especially for women. Everyone wanted a flat ass, just fucking no waist, flat ass, low-rise jeans. These days, things have wildly improved for women's fashion, I think, with high-rise stuff where you don't have your belly hanging out anymore. You can zip it up past your belly button. I like that shit, where it kind of accentuates the slimmest, most narrow part of your waist. That's nice. Having a fat ass is a good thing now. It wasn't. It wasn't when I was growing up. I can remember my mother saying, like, almost as if in the Nelly video, like, this makes my butt look too big. Now you hear now BBLs are in. I mean, it's gone in the completely opposite direction, which I'm grateful for because I got a dumper. But yeah, you wanted to have no ass at all. And now it's like, how do I make my ass bigger, juicier? I see this shit on the gram all the time, just exercises to really make the glutes grow, food to eat to make your ass fat. People like it when it jiggles. Twerking is in. Things are just better in that regard. But it seems to be that the golden age of happiness, again, not because I necessarily remember it that way. I was in my single digit years. But I think people harp on that time as if it was like this perfect blend of, we had technology in the medical sphere, we had technology in the computer sphere, but it wasn't so invasive that it was taking over people's lives and causing them to be unhappy. You could make international calls. Like I said, you weren't having to use like Morse code and shit. There was technology in the air. You could fly anywhere you wanted, all that sort of stuff. But you didn't have the smartphone in your pocket. And I think that's where things went wrong, but also where things went right. Because it's so awesome. Like sometimes there's so many times where I'm like on my phone and I'm like, fuck, ordering something off Amazon or ordering food, which I usually don't do, but whatever you can. And without leaving your house, like you can have everything you need right at your doorstep, which is insane and incredible that you could have that ability to communicate and make transactions like that without having to talk to a single fucking person. Like that gets me hard. Like I like that sometimes when I think about interacting with people. I go, ugh, no, thank you. I'll just have it come to my house. Come to me. I don't want to come to you. I like that shit. But then I go, but when you think about the downsides of it all, I mean, I have an article here about how Gen Z is going through a midlife crisis and they're 22. So, that's probably not good. And when you kind of dig deep into why Gen Z is having a crisis, I mean, it's probably multifaceted, but I think a big part of that is they don't remember what it was like to live without a cell phone. Or I should say a smartphone. Because, like, whatever, how much... What is like Snake on Nokia really gonna do to you? Not much, right? You couldn't have any social media on there. But I remember when I got my first cell phone at 14, and it was a fucking brick phone, man. And I thought it was so cool. I could just play like that one game on my phone. To send a text, you had to, and if you wanted to say call me, you had to hit the 1-3 times to get to the C. It was just fucking cool. Like looking back on it, I'm like, that's awesome. I kind of wish I could return to that. But if you try to return to that and be a part of modern society, you're shamed for it, and also you can't compete. Like when your boss needs you to get back to them, and other people have their phone on them, they're willing to interrupt family dinner to talk to you. If you're flip phone Willie or you got your Nokia in the other room and it's turned off, you're probably not going to do as well because you're just not as accessible. But I feel like that life is calling me back because we all have the decision where we could return to that. You don't need to have a smartphone to live. You don't. You fucking don't. But you do, people like for work and this. I get it. I'm on the digital space. I get it. I have a boss who maybe texts me, and if I don't get back to him within 3 to 6 minutes, it's not good news for me. But so you need to be accessible. I get that. But also, like, at what cost? At what fucking cost? I don't know. I know that was quite a rant, quite a rave. But let's get to some phone calls here. Hello. Thank you for patiently waiting. Who is this? Did I fuck it up? I mean, definitely think you're on there. No? Oh, no. I have a feeling something bad's going to happen. Hello? Who's this? God damn it. Hello? Oh, I have a feeling it's something here. Okay, ready? I'm going to just start pressing shit and hopefully it works. Hello? Definitely not that. Hello? 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 I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm probably fucking shit up. Hello? You're probably just screaming at me right now, and I can't do nothing about it. I don't know what I am doing. Hello? This is gonna be the rest of the show, guys. How do I turn that off? Ooh, Macho Man is gonna kill me. Hello? I don't know. Macho, if you're here, if you wouldn't mind coming in. If you're not, that's okay. I understand you got to get ready for a big show tonight. That's no problem. They like to get a few phone calls in. I do apologize, folks. I'm trying my best over here. Okay, I can't do it all. Unfortunately, how do I do this? Hello? What about now? Hello? No, I got nothing, folks. Stay on the line. Hopefully, Macho Man comes in, or someone can show me what's going on here. Or maybe I'll just press the right button at some point, but probably not. Probably. Oh, man, that sucks. I wanted to hear from you guys. You guys make me happy. But we'll just have to continue on, all right? I'm so sorry. Gen Z is already having a midlife crisis, like I just mentioned. U.S. Surgeon General warns social media is to blame. It is crazy that the more and more research and data that comes out on social media is really only pointing to that it's leading nowhere good at all. And I feel so absolutely, well, I don't like saying blessed, but you get it. Fortunate. I feel fortunate that I can recall a time where I was not on social media. It was my entire upbringing. I was playing with social media. The only time I was allowed that it even entered my sphere of influence was when I was 18 years old. And even then, I was like, this is some dumb shit. I remember thinking to myself, Facebook. And I remember one of my buddies from high school was like, yeah, as soon as we get to college, we can get a Facebook account. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just call me? Now, MySpace was a thing, and some of the kids at school were into it. I found it. I was just like, why would anyone? The writing was on the wall from the get with me. Why would anyone make, in my mind, a website that was dedicated to just them? I was like, that is the most narcissistic, pathetic, pick me sort of try hard thing someone could do would be to make a website, again, in my mind, and dedicate it to them and themselves. And it wasn't even like, okay, are you hawking a product? Are you trying to sell me a service? No, it's just you go to this website and it's just me. It's a blog with me and my stuff, and you can see all the cool things I do, and it's just me flexing or me in a bathing suit. I was like, that is just so unbelievably shameful. I remember having that thought in my head. I was like, that is so shameful. Why would anybody want that? And so I got to college, and everyone was like, you got to get on Facebook. You got to get on Facebook. I'm like, actually, no, I fucking don't. That's fucking lame. And someone showed it to me, and I'm like, so you just go on a site and you just post pictures of yourself. For what? And they're like, so people can just look at them and comment on them. I'm like, how pathetic is that? That's what I remember saying. I'm like, that is so pathetic. I'm not doing that. And that was really like I feel like written in the stars that I am not one that is very good at self-promotion. I feel weird just being like, hey, look at me, look at this, look at that, look at this. I'm always just like, I don't want to fucking intrude. I'm sorry. I knock on the door quietly. Okay, they're sleeping. I'll leave them alone. So then there was a boy, and I think I may have told the story before. Just dropping everything today. I'm a fucking mess. There was a boy. His name was Navid. I remember. And he was, I thought he was very cute, very handsome. And I was like, well, I would like to run into this boy more frequently. Maybe I can get a better grasp of what he's doing and where he's at and like things he's into, because you could kind of list some of your interests, at least at the time, favorite hobbies, I think that was on Facebook for a time as a feature in its early years. And I remember this guy, Navid, and I thought he was just so cute. And I don't know if it was my idea or somebody posed it to me, was like, well, why don't you add him on Facebook? And I'm like, fuck, I got to get a Facebook. So I remember I got a Facebook and I was like, oh, so fucking annoying. But I was like, I can't just add him and now I have one friend, because it shows you how many friends you have. I'm like, one friend and it's you, and that's the only person I like want to spy on. Like, no, that's crazy. That's stalkerish. So I spent like maybe 2 weeks like adding people and waiting for them to confirm my friendship or whatever. So I built up my number, and I told myself, I'm like, let me get to 50, which now is like a pathetic number or whatever. But back then it was like, whatever, somewhat substantial. If you had like, if you were in the 3 digits, it was like, whoa, hey, what's up? Again, this is in 2005. So I spent probably 2 weeks trying to get some motherfucking friends on Facebook. And then, of course, I added Navid. But yes, and it actually, I think it ended as well as it could have. Navid was actually my first kiss, which I was very excited about. I don't think he knew that he was my first kiss. But yeah, I don't know if everybody remembers their first kiss, but I was a full-blown adult. Most people have their first kiss. They're like, I was 9, I was fucking 4.5, I was, or, more realistically, like your first makeout sesh, 14, something like that. Maybe that's a decent age. 16 is like late. Dude, I was like almost fucking 20 years old. I was 19, I'm pretty sure. 18 or 19 when that happened. So yeah, that was really embarrassing, because people were, at that time, when I was in college, obviously, people were having sex, people were doing anal, and I was just like, I don't think I've ever even held a boy's hand before. Like, I was very green in that department. Not in that department, not like in a gonorrhea department, more just like in a newbie department, because I was afraid and I was scared. But yes. Listen, I really want to take phone calls. I'm going to put everybody on hold, and I'm going to put some music on, and I'm going to try to call Macho and see if I can figure this bullshit out, okay? So just bear with me for just 1 second here. Hello? Check 1, 2. Nope, nothing. Hold. Stand by. Hello? Hello? Check 1, 2. No, nothing. Do I hear sound? No. All right, I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying to get it sorted because that's annoying. I want to interact with you guys, and so I'm just gonna put you on hold, sir or ma'am, and hopefully Macho will get back to me when he can, so that he can tell me how I fucked up the board. But I mean, Bubba took a call right at the end of the show, so I don't quite understand what changed. And I know Chuck from Chuck and Leslie are trying to call in, and I am trying to take this call, but I got 4 calls on hold, and I really appreciate that you guys are sticking it out with me to the best of my ability. But unfortunately, I'm the only one here right now, I think. So it's just kind of me doing my thing, and I apologize, and I also appreciate your patience. But back to Gen Z, not doing well. Come on now, work with me. It looks like, regarding Gen Z, Director of Wellbeing Research and blah, 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 said the findings showed disconcerting drops in the youth happiness, especially in North America and Western Europe, like it had fallen off of a cliff. And it's so funny because right now I want to fucking ask all you assholes out there about your kids and what you're doing, but I can't do that because I can't hear anything. So it's not good. I almost wanted to give out like my cell phone number so that I could just have you guys on that way and just put you on speaker or some shit so I could talk to somebody. 'Cause sometimes it gets lonely in these streets, if you know what I mean. Also, wanted to discuss briefly before I forget. Obviously, Bubba 199 tonight, 8 to 10 p.m. So make sure that you are here for that. Macho Man will be on the 1s and 2s, spinning it up, and it's going to be a good time. I did catch a bit of that while I was at a rehearsal dinner. Came home, probably got home around, 9:30 p.m. or so. And yeah, I flip it on and I'm like, I bet Macho's going to be killing it. And sure as shit, as soon as I turn it on, within about 30 seconds, Bubba's like, I was never doing this again. Macho, you're so much better than I was too, bitch. And then I pretty much turned it off because I'm like, yeah, I thought that was going to happen. But anyways, it is what it is. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I missed last month, which is kind of sad. It's one of my favorite things that we do here at the Bubba Radio Network. So I'm very excited to be back. And also, I wanted to remind you guys that fighter Billy Q in the UFC will be fighting his new opponent. It's like, he's some Moroccan guy. Youssef Zalal or some shit like that, okay? He's Moroccan, the crazy Moroccan. And he will be fighting on UFC Fight Night 89, I believe. It's going to be on ESPN2, so it's not even a pay-per-view, so you don't even have to worry about finding a bar that streams it or whatever. You could just kind of watch it from the comfort of your own home. All right, let's see. He's sending me something. Macho Man, we're going to figure this out together, okay? Live on the air. So just kind of push that one in with the arrow next to it. In with the arrow. I feel like I'm looking for like fucking buried treasure over here. Push that one in with the arrow next to it. Huh? Arrow. Do I see an arrow? Fuck, man. Come on. Where's the arrow? What arrow are we talking about? I don't see an arrow. You guys are enjoying watching me struggle right now. Arrow. Is it written? I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. Sorry. Hello. Hello? The arrow you drew, right? I'm sorry. I thought I was looking for it on the board because I'm done. I'm dumb. Picks coming. Okay, I did push that. I did push that. Hello? No, nothing. Come on, man. I need to figure this out. Give me a second, guys. Hello? Yeah, all right. I mean, I'm pretty much giving up at this point. Just getting really frustrated trying to make this work. I don't think I hear anybody, right? Hello, 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 nothing. Start screaming. I'm trying my best, folks. Nobody's here. Oh, maybe I need to turn that off. Hello? Fuck. I don't know what to do. Hello, hello? I mean... Hold on. Take a picture of mic 1. Hello? Check 1, 2. Hello? Check. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. Dude, this is the worst. I'm trying my best. Hello? Did I just turn the orange UTL light needs to be on? Hello? And then did I fuck this one up over here? The orange one?